What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Dark Waters 9. Today we have some of the most mysterious paranormal footage caught on camera. Ghost encounters, creatures, and unexplained evidence that will make you question everything. Starting with this. Alright guys, a couple in New Jersey just came home from work and they noticed that their CCTV camera found something strange moving and it picked it up. What I'm about to show you is the actual film that they caught on camera.
Needless to say, this couple couldn't believe what they had captured on camera. They noticed immediately its long, ghoulish gait. Then they noticed its really long legs, much longer than the average human.
Look at how crazy this thing looks. I don't know what this thing is, but look, as soon as the light hits it, it reacts to the light like it doesn't want to be seen, and you can see the background shadow hit the fence. You know, that's the crazy thing about this. You know, this feels like some Cloverfield footage, except there's no film crew. Now again, I don't know what this thing is, but I do know as soon as the light hit it, it reacted to it and started to run the other way, and you can see the shadow behind the actual whatever it is. Check out this sighting that was spotted in Toronto, Canada. Witnesses report say moving lights resembling, their words, a flying saucer. Let's take a closer look. Look at the very end right side. All of the lights seem to be forming into one end spot. Alright, if you thought that last one was crazy, check out this one. Just visually looking at this mysterious film, it's just like, what are these orbs doing in the sky, just sitting there placed strategically lining up? But I can definitely see how someone could look at this and be like, what is going on? Especially this right one on this edge. That one appears to have like an orange tint to it, and the rest of these are white. This one looks like a brighter yellow, and the one orb on the left looks like a pure bright orb, just in stationary position. I want you guys to drop your thoughts in the comments below. What exactly is going on? What did they capture on film? Alright guys, this next footage is extremely unusual. I want you to pay attention to the back of this semi and what it's carrying. It shows it for a brief second, and I want you to drop in the comments below exactly what you saw and what you think it was. Alright, here it comes. It's like the guy that is recording this, he didn't really want them to see that he was recording it. A couple things to take note of if we look at the background, and not only what this semi is carrying, it's the location as well. This looks like the kind of footage people always connect to some restricted desert test site, but I'm more focused on the actual visuals itself.
Now the following is some brand new alleged footage of the Dogman. Now once again, this video is going pretty viral, but it's also pretty controversial. Viewers are torn between this one, some saying it's 100% real and others saying it's AI. Regardless, the footage is super clear, one of the clearest clips yet. The witness was out in a forest this day, location unnamed, when all of a sudden they spotted this dark, upright creature. And since they were up higher and felt pretty safe, they pulled out their phone and decided to record this infamous creature for the world to see.
There's a couple crazy things with this video. Look at the shadow of when the creature's walking, and you can see the shadow line up with each step it's doing. And I'm surprised whoever's recording this isn't terrified and shaking. Look, he even zooms right in on it. You know, you gotta have nerves of steel to zoom in on this creature, you know, this crazy, scary looking creature, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Higher and felt pretty safe, they pulled out their phone and decided to record this infamous creature for the world to see. Then they quickly ended their video and got out of there. Analyzing the creature itself, it certainly looks how this Dogman creature is said to. It's covered in dark fur, slightly hunched, tall, bipedal, and it appears to have the head of a canine. These Dogman creatures are said to almost look like werewolves but more animalistic, with similar body proportions as a Sasquatch. But they're said to be significantly more dangerous than Bigfoot, possessing much more aggression and territorialism.
Alright guys, this one's up to you to believe. I'm just tripping on how this thing is walking towards them and they're just remaining so calm. I would have dropped the camera here. When this creature was back over here, I would have took off. You know what I'm saying?
You've done a film on the Dogman, right?
Yeah. The story is that this kid, 15 years old, going coon hunting in the Kentucky Daniel Boone National Forest. He was with his grandfather. His grandfather was so old that he couldn't get out of the truck to go hunting with him. They had radios. They let the dogs go. They had 2 hunting dogs, Jake and Bo. Jake was the older dog, and then Bo was a new dog that Jake was training. The dogs take off. They have a scent, and he's tracking. And you can hear there's these coyotes coming in, and they start fighting his dogs. And Bo, the younger dog, he said you could hear Bo yep and then run away. So he's trying to get there, and all of a sudden he hears Jake come back, and the fight changes. These coyotes run off. He arrives on the scene. He's pats Jake on the head, and Bo, he's on the other side of the tree. And so he hears Bo on the other side, and it sounds like he's eating a coyote. And when he comes around the tree, he realizes that Bo never came back. And what
Dang, not Bo.
he was looking at was a dog that was so big that it was holding a coyote by its rib cage in its mouth. It was on all 4, and this dog sees him, and it stops chewing down on the coyote, and it stares at him, and then it did something that he didn't expect. It stood up on its hind legs, and then the dog took a step forward towards him, but he took off running. This thing took chase. Jake, his veteran dog, interfered. He said that this thing grabbed Jake and just hurled it through the woods, and you could hear Jake's body just crashing through trees, and he's like, my dog is done. He's running, and he trips over like a log or something, and he finds himself on his backside facing this thing, and then out of nowhere his dog again comes in and broadsides this thing and just
Let's go, Bo. Bo said this isn't over with.
viciously starts going after it, and he gets up and he starts running. He seriously hears this thing just tearing his dog to pieces.
Oh my god.
Like he can just hear it just ripping his dog apart. He's calling for Jake. Come on, Jake, come on. Jake's not coming. He runs to the truck where his grandfather is. And his grandfather's like, what's going on? And he's like, just go, just go. He's telling his grandfather what happened. They get out of the woods. His grandfather said to him, listen, if you're going to hunt these woods, you have to understand there are things about these woods that are not normal. And if you can't come to grips with that, you shouldn't be hunting these woods.
Tell him now. No?
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
You've done a film.
You know, I don't know how true this story is or if this really happened or not, but this is also a testament to man's best friend, a dog.
Now, the video that you are seeing right now is of the supposed creature of Bray Road. Now, to rule out AI or anything like that, this is a much, much older video. And eyewitnesses all do have the same story when encountering the creature from Bray Road, that they saw a really large and tall Dogman-like creature. Now, this
Dogman creature, I was going to say a giant rat. Look at the ears. And look how it's towering over the fence, and it just shifted through this fence. But I don't know about Dogman. This is definitely giving me Master Splinter vibes. Alright, this caption reads, what was that? Ghost on Florida golf course.
Oh my gosh! So what is that? What is that?
Yeah, you kind of do see some type of white, ghastly silhouette that just phases into thin air.
After 59 years, Mothman has finally been caught on camera, and I'm going to show you. At least a lot of people are claiming this is in fact the elusive Mothman, which first was spotted nearly 60 years ago in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Here's a little something you might not know. Since the original Mothman sighting in the 1960s, there have been dozens of Mothman sightings across the Appalachia and beyond. Everywhere from Arkansas to Cades Cove and the Smoky Mountains, pretty much everywhere.
Man, you always hear stories about stuff in the Appalachian and the Smoky Mountains. I've been thinking about just getting away and getting a little cabin out there, you know, to go look at the stars. But you hear so many creepy, scary horror stories of what crawls in the night out there, you're almost gonna need a watchdog, like how we just were talking about. Do you guys stay out there? Have you been there? Have you experienced anything out there? I want to know about it.
Mothman type creatures who people report being 7 to 8 feet tall, and some comparable to that of a toddler or small child. Watch what this person captured on their camera as they were cruising through the Appalachian back roads, and this winged creature crosses the road. Check it out. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have a great day. God bless.
Nah, that was crazy. It definitely had some type of shape to it. At first I just thought it was a deer. I'm like, man, that's just a deer going by. But the footage says something. But this footage says something else, doesn't it? What? That's too much going on. What the heck was that? I can't even describe what just darted across that screen. Alright, this next strange creatures that they caught on film. Man, the caption says river monsters, and that's definitely a fitting title to say the least. Shout out to Jeremy Wade, one of my favorite shows growing up. But this definitely looks like something that he would reel out of a river. But what are they doing in this stationary lagoon is my question. You know, there's no water filtration. What do they eat? You know, they need to be put out. They need to be released, if you ask me. And if you look closer, you can see the smaller fish at the bottom and the shadows again, the reflection. You know, I'm not saying this is real and I'm not saying it's fake, but with the miniature fish going across it, definitely adds to the validity. What type of creatures are these is the question. You know, I'm familiar with sturgeon, and this doesn't look like a sturgeon to me. What could this be? But looking at the bone structure, it could be. This might be a different sturgeon family I'm not too sure of.
Have a look at
Alright guys, what he's basically showing us is Dragon's Neck, and a lot of people believe that this is once a petrified dragon, to say the least. You can see the scales on the back, and then also the Chinese zodiac that has all the different animals on it. But what I want you guys to pay attention to is this image right here. And if we just look at the actual formation of the creature, you can see it has a long tail, it's green, and you could see the wings coming right above the front legs of this creature. What's shocking to me about this though is that it's the same size of a horse. And if you look under the horse, which I'd never seen before, you can actually see a skeleton. How creepy is that? Under the horse. Almost like whoever this character is right here stumbled across like the dragon's lair, to say the least, is what this painting is illustrating to me. Definitely gets a lot creepier the more you look at it, because you got the damsel in distress in the back yelling. It looked like some carnage already done happened on the lower left corner. It is extremely interesting why this church would cover that up. And I wonder where this is at now. I mean, let's just take a moment to look at this footage right here. Look at the formation. If this is a geological formation that naturally occurred like this, I mean, you can even see the indention right here. And also look at the separation going through the middle of this formation. And you can see this lady paying immense respect to it. You guys tell me, what do you think this actually is?
Petrified beings, snakes, dragons, scales like this, Naka cave, Naka means snake. You'll see, it's all over our world, guys. All over our ancient history, all over our past. These are dragons. They're dragons. Like, Come on now.
This has to be one of the most visually striking. Right here, this has to be one of the most visually striking formations out of all of them. It is called Isle of Man, also known as Dragon's Rock. How crazy is that? The legend goes is that it looks like it's taking a drink of water, is what some people say. I'm not saying that's true or not, but that's what people say. And then you start diving into all these different looking structures. Now I'm saying I don't know exactly what this is, but I can definitely understand why footage like this sends people into a deep dive.
It might make you think that dragons were involved. But let us know what you think in the comments down below, and make sure to like, share, and follow for more hidden truths. Peace and love.
Dragons weren't real, and they most certainly couldn't fly, and they most certainly weren't intelligent enough to drape themselves in gold, which would help them conduct the electricity from the ether to give them the ability to fly. No, that's all fiction, right?
Alright, this footage right here you are looking at was from a volcano in Mexico that erupted. But what I want y'all to see is these whole fleet of UFOs that was recorded coming out the volcano. Now this is a camera that they kept pointed at the volcano while it was erupting. But they didn't know they was gonna catch all these UFOs exiting this volcano. Look like all dish-shaped UFOs. A whole fleet of them. Now what they use these volcanoes for, I have no idea. Maybe it's an energy source. Some people say it's a portal. Some people say the lava tubes lead down the Middle Earth. I don't know, but they definitely are UFOs coming out of this volcano.
If this is a volcano right here, these objects that are just blasting out from it, just going in unison. You know, it's like they're all headed the same exact direction as well, whatever they are. Definitely weird and unexplained. Alright guys, it's that time of the day again. If you thought I didn't have another mysterious, excellent specimen of the day for you today, think again. Using! Alright, I already know what I'm naming this off the bat. I love it when as soon as I see a specimen for the first time, I know instantly what the name is going to be. This is a special fluorite with quartz and pyrite. The actual base it's on is pretty decent too. The rating I'm going to give this specimen, I'm going to give this a 9.3. And the name I'm going to give it is GameCube. I'm giving the specimen name the GameCube. I want to hear your guys' rating, and go ahead and drop your name in the comments below for this specimen.
When you f around with a 20 million year old frozen Antarctic lake, you're gonna find out. And these scientists sure did. You see, on top of Antarctica totally having pyramids, alien bases, and advanced ancient structures no one can explain, just a theory, may or may not be true, it also, as any other continent on Earth does, has lakes. Except we don't think much of them because, well, they're frozen and just kind of blend in with the rest of the frozen tundra down there. Well, Lake Vostok in Antarctica is one of those lakes, discovered by radar in 1974 by Russian scientists 4 kilometers beneath the surface, and was later officially confirmed in 1993. But subglacial lakes like these are interesting because they can act as a bit of a time capsule, preserving whatever's down there for millions of years.
Look at how crazy that plant life is. If that's even a plant, it's like something you'll see out the movie Avatar.
And sometimes might release something that nature intended to keep hidden, which is allegedly what happened when the scientists breached the ice lake several years later for the first time in 20 million years. The divers who went down are said to have encountered something that we've never seen before. A 10-meter long, 14-tentacle squid that was unlike any other creature on Earth. The squid released a toxin which ended the lives of the few of the divers before they actually ended up capturing it and bringing it up to the surface.
Guys, they done found the Kraken and then threw it in a fish tank.
As expected, once this new creature was reported, it was seized by government officials who took it in for study, and the scientists were told to not talk about it. And when Russian officials tell you to not talk about something, you don't talk about it. Rumors have it they experimented heavily on this organism after they found out it was sentient, like an intelligent species living in our ocean. And everything was very hush-hush classified about it, so not much more was reported on it. This is the tale of Organism 46B, which many insist is just a rumor.
Now we're in Godzilla King of Monsters territory.
Fictional story that circulated the internet for many years. Which, to be fair, there isn't much info about this, and it could very well just be a creepypasta post that went viral. Organism 46B is quite the story. That is, until scientists officially discovered this in 2023. A massive squid-like creature with 20 arms discovered deep in the waters of Antarctica.
Why is this giving me facehugger vibes from that movie Aliens?
Eerily similar to what Organism 46B is said to have looked like. And this find is legit, totally real and verified. Look, even Earth.com posted about it, which sounds pretty official to me. Called the Antarctic Strawberry Feather Star, or this name. Found as deep as 6,500 feet or 2 kilometers underwater. The truth is, there are a lot of creatures in our oceans that we just have no idea what they are. We really don't know what's down there. As a matter of fact, we've explored more of the surface of the moon than we have of our own ocean floor. And frozen lakes and glaciers that have been sealed off for millions of years can potentially preserve prehistoric organisms and creatures that aren't even supposed to be around anymore. Which kinda happened when a giant iceberg the size of Chicago, Iceberg A84, broke off a glacier in Antarctica, revealing a thriving ecosystem underneath. Completely cut off from our world for hundreds of years, several entirely new, undocumented species were discovered.
I'm trying to figure out what artifacts lay at the bottom. Show us the pyramid that may be hidden at the bottom. This is oddly similar to that Alien vs Predators movie. This is how it started off. It was literally under the Antarctic ice.
Including huge sea sponges, corals, sea spiders, glowing worms, and a whole bunch of others. And this was from just one small section of the ocean. We can only imagine what sort of creatures are lurking in the deepest reaches. One very alarming trait researchers have observed in many of these newly discovered deep-sea creatures is they're big. Dare I say, massive. That's because the ocean is a buoyant medium, meaning the downward pull of gravity experienced on land is largely minimized underwater. As such, animals don't collapse under their own weight as they would on the surface. Couple that with millions of years of well-preserved evolution protected from surface-level catastrophes, and you get the most gigantic creatures on Earth, like the blue whale, topping the official list of the largest animals on Earth, which can be up to 30 meters long. But it turns out the blue whale might have some competition that completely dwarfs it in comparison.
I forgot what museum I went to, but they had a whole entire blue whale skeleton hanging from the ceiling, and when I say that thing is massive, it's like several houses put together how big it is.
An ultra-low frequency sound was recorded in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Chile in 1997, known as the Bloop. This sound was so insanely loud it was picked up by instruments all around the world. Scientists had no idea what could have possibly produced the sound and still can't explain it to this day. The only logical explanation they could think of was that it came from a large marine mammal. But judging by the deepness and pitch of the sound, this creature was much bigger than anything in existence. Assuming similar noise-making capabilities to a blue whale, the bloop would have to be made by an animal more than 76 meters in length. That's 2.5 times bigger than the biggest blue whale ever recorded, which is already just mind-bogglingly enormous, but somehow it's possible that something even bigger than that may have actually been detected in April 2024, where global radar maps captured an enormous, unexplainable underwater mass that appeared to once again come from Antarctica, with huge waves up to 25 meters high in a highly concentrated area of the ocean, seen moving upwards along the coast of Africa and continued to get bigger.
I believe this is exactly how the movie Godzilla played out. They started seeing strange anomalies in the water coming straight to land.
And well, big is an understatement. This thing is colossal, the size of several countries combined. And again, researchers had no clue what this was, and it just disappeared into the depths again 2 days later. Of course, a Google search will probably tell you this was a glitch or a mistake in the radar system or something, so have at it. But the truth is, the vast majority of our oceans remain unexplored, and they take up around 70% of the entire world. Like, we barely even know what sort of creatures live in the largest ecosystem of our own planet. And we're constantly coming across crazy anomalies like these that tell us maybe Organism 46B wasn't as ridiculous a story as we once thought.
That looked like actual submarine footage, right? Like deep water exploration. I've never seen anything like this. Look at how his head is flapping.
Antarctica are in fact releasing giant prehistoric sea squids and bloops and other ancient creatures once considered myths back into our present day ecosystem that we are not ready for. Kraken confirmed in 5 years. Let's make it happen.
Now this next video was supposedly taken at the end of an exorcism in Mexico. And really pay attention to the video, because why is it that that's the only spot that this horrendous storm is happening? Could it be coincidence or something else? Now what kind of large bird is that? Could this be evidence that thunderbirds are real? Because even to this day, there's still eyewitness reports that these birds do exist.
Have you heard of the guru Sanji Rohan, who can climb with just his feet through meditation, and he lives in that hole right there on the cliff? He has his home up there, and they said what was crazy is when he carried his sofa up, he just put it on his shoulders and he just climbed up with his feet and just got right in the hole. And a lot of US climbers now are trying to go and learn his ways because they're saying, I can become the best climber in the world if I can learn not how to use my hands. And so I'm curious what you think about it all.
You have got to be kidding me. There's no way that this is real. He would have to be part mountain goat to pull this off. You know, speaking about strange creatures, take a look at this. Imagine you're just driving and you see something like this thing up on the side of the road. Look at the talons on this thing, you know? Almost look like high heels. And then the bright red popping off. What a strange creature. What is this called? A thunderbird? It's almost like a prehistoric crow. That's exactly what it looks like. Alright guys, we covered all types of mysterious unknown sky anomalies, even stuff under our waters that we can't explain, catching on camera all different types of weird stuff. If you made it this far, drop the code word in the comments below. The code word is creepy film. Go ahead and drop creepy film in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know your family, you made it all the way to the end. This was the most disturbing and mysterious videos that broke my understanding and questions everything.